Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Fletcher. I'm the CEO from Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area, and we are here today to kick off our strategic workforce plan for Bastrop County. We have been working on these plans for quite some time, and we're just thrilled today to be able to get everyone together and launch this plan and really begin our work in Bastrop County, or continue our work in Bastrop County, but begin it under this plan and ensure that our efforts are focused and directed on the right things there. With us today, we have a couple of dignitaries. Judge Poppy, appreciate you being here today. And the chair of our workforce board, Frank Leonardis, is here with us today. Frank, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, thanks, Paul. I am Frank Leonardis, current chair for the Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. We represent 9 counties that surround Travis County. And of course, today, here to work with you there in Bastrop County. I want to thank everybody for their input that was participating while this plan was being developed. It's certainly key for us and Paul's staff and to have the local input from Bastrop County there. So for y'all that did participate, certainly appreciate your participation in developing the plan. If not, I'm certainly glad that you're here today and look forward to working with y'all moving forward. We're going to need your continued support and input as we roll this out and help guide us over the next couple of years there in Bastrop County. So thank you for your participation.
Thanks, Frank. Judge, would you like to say a few words? I didn't ask you, but I've never known a judge that wouldn't want to say at least good morning.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Frank. Yes, I'm happy to welcome everybody to this conference call and look forward to the details as we roll out the strategic workforce plan. Paul has been working on this for months, and it's been, in fact, in the entire region. I understand there are several counties involved in this regional effort here, Paul. So Bastrop County is certainly the spotlight right now, and there's a lot going on around here, and workforce is a big part of that. So we're looking forward to what we can learn today and how we're going to move forward. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Judge. So what we're going to talk about today, our agenda is there on the screen. So we're going to go over the plan goals, the background. We'll get into some of our staff. Diane and Kara and Eugene will help us talk about things like the key findings, how we developed our priorities, how we did a SWOT analysis, the strategic plan, the labor market data that we used, the development of the Workforce Matters Coalition, and then we'll get into some questions and some wrap up. So that's kind of just a preview of our agenda. On our plan goals, we really set 3, we think, ambitious goals for Bastrop County. One is to look at what are some big structural barriers like housing, childcare, transportation, and broadband, and their impact on workforce and the ability of employers to find the talent they need for their businesses and for people to find the jobs that they need to help them be successful. We want to enhance the employer-led and demand-driven workforce system. So we want to make sure that system is going to be responsive to employer needs and that the talent that they need will be available in the years to come. And then we want to create strong pathways for self-sufficient employment so people have a clear path from either coming out of high school or through some post-secondary education into what kind of pathway that exists out there for their career. Hopefully those 2 goals are strongly in alignment and we can encourage people to pick pathways that lead to employer needed jobs in the area. Just some background on how we formed the plan. So we started working about 18 months ago, specifically last summer. In July, we held a workshop to bring people together. We had to do that via Zoom virtually because of COVID. But we held those meetings in July and then some specific focus groups in August and September to kind of draw out the needs from the community, to hear what those needs were, hear what people's thoughts were about what the plan should look at and should work on. So it's really a grassroots led effort to really make it fundamentally critically reliant for Bastrop County. And as we move to key findings, I'm going to introduce you all to Diane Tackett. Diane is our Chief Operations Officer, and she's going to talk about those findings.
Good morning, everyone. As we were going through the focus groups and looking at the data related to Bastrop County and kind of a little bit more generally related to the general region, there were a couple of areas that we identified as being particularly important in determining what the workforce environment looks like for Bastrop County. So a couple of the key findings is that there is currently some low educational attainment. There's a high rate of youth disconnection to the workforce, shortage of workers with technical skills, and a lack of high wage economic opportunities in the area. We identified these as being some significant workforce issues that we wanted to be able to focus on in the county. But other key findings include some of the positive things that are happening in Bastrop County, including the community working and mobilizing through Bastrop County Cares to really address some of the county's most pressing issues and opportunities. And then another potential opportunity is not just with Tesla, but also with manufacturing and advanced manufacturing in general. There's a significant opportunity for the county, both as a destination for employees to live and work, and for manufacturers and suppliers to locate. So based on some of these key findings, we wanted to look at some priorities. And including that is to support, scale up, and replicate work that Bastrop County Cares does as a model for what we would like to accomplish as part of the Workforce Matters Coalition, so that we can also help address structural barriers, including housing, transportation, broadband, and childcare. Another priority is to strengthen and align partnerships with the Chambers of Commerce and Economic Development organizations so that we can better engage employers with more meaningful workforce conversations and use that information to improve the understanding of the local labor market and what the needs are of employers in the county. And then finally, we would like to increase the awareness of high demand careers and the opportunities so that we can connect the Bastrop County citizens with the employers and ensure that the employers have the right skills that they need in order to be successful. One of the other things that we did as we were looking at the data and really kind of analyzing the information from the focus groups is we went through a SWOT analysis, and although you can get more information about that in the county specific report, there's a couple of things that I'd like to highlight as part of this analysis that we discovered. One of the things I think that is really key for Bastrop County is that the employment and labor force recovered pretty quickly after the initial economic shutdown due to COVID. And so that was kind of helpful to see things kind of swing back into a better rate of job seekers recovering and being able to find employment. We also identified that there's lower retirement exposure compared to some of our other counties in the region. And that's kind of indicative of having a little bit of a younger workforce. So you've got more opportunity in Bastrop County for individuals to be able to get connected with the employers in the county. The work that Bastrop County Cares has completed and the initiatives that they are working on is also identified as a strength. Another strength is that the cost of living in Bastrop County is lower than the Austin metropolitan area. So that kind of gives us an opportunity to really be able to identify those looking for work and get them connected with employers in Bastrop County. There's so many strengths that are happening in Bastrop County. I'm going to let you kind of look through the rest of those, but one that I did want to make sure that we highlighted is the work that Connected Nation is doing in really analyzing broadband connectivity and where some of the deserts are in Bastrop County and what can be done to mitigate that. Of course, no SWOT analysis would be complete without also looking at some of the weaknesses that have been identified. So we know that there's a lower labor force participation rate. We know that the median hourly wage in Bastrop County is lower than compared to other counties. We know that there's a higher rate of youth disconnection. So a kind of post-high school connection to employment is less likely to be seen in Bastrop County. So youth are a little bit more disconnected. And then there's a higher percentage of the working age population without a high school diploma. And that kind of builds into having a lack of high skill or high wage opportunities. There's some technical skill shortages that need to be addressed. And then also one of the things that I think is important for us to be able to look at is the early care and education opportunities in Bastrop County. We identified that there's going to be a need for more early care and education, and so we would really like to continue to work towards that. And the other thing that I would be remiss if I did not point out is that most of the county is outside of the community college taxing district. And so kind of the access for that additional skills training for residents is a little bit more difficult. In terms of some of the opportunities though, there's a lot of opportunities that we can look at as we're building out these community coalitions. So for Bastrop specifically, we can enhance the career readiness and career training programs through the school districts. We know the Art Institute has come into Bastrop, and so being able to have additional training providers there and expand the course offerings is going to be important. There's the potential for remote work as the Connected Nation project continues to advance. And then with the opportunity of Tesla, there's the ability to attract other manufacturers and other employers to the area that's really going to be able to support the workforce and provide the opportunity needed for individuals to go to work. There's also partnership with Austin Community College to offer continuing education and other workforce training programs outside of, kind of the traditional community college education. So that's a little bit more helpful for us because it can be more kind of just-in-time training or training that's going to meet an immediate need. And then we can leverage Bastrop County Care's network to continue to address issues such as early care and education, broadband, and housing. But we know that there's going to be a housing affordability and shortage of housing units that's going to have to be addressed in order to ensure that we're successful in this coalition building. We want to make sure that there's access to post-secondary education and training. We want to make sure that we are supporting those early care and education providers and really propping them up because they've had a very difficult time during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then we want to be able to provide opportunities for highly educated residents to be able to work in the same location that they live in. We don't want them to leave the county for higher wage opportunities. So working to be able to bring those high wage opportunities into the county would be helpful as well. So as we move forward, I went through that kind of quickly, but I'm going to pass it off to Kara and let her talk a little bit more about the strategic plan and what the process was for that.
So for us, we identified 3 overarching goals, and even though we list them as 1, 2, and 3, it's less about priorities and more about understanding that there are 3 kind of pillars that all need to be working together in order to make us much stronger. And so the first one is address big structural barriers such as housing, childcare, transportation, and broadband. And that's essentially saying that as a workforce board, we perform better when we have an ecosystem that supports the workforce and the working people. We want to enhance the employer-led and demand-driven workforce system. That means we really want to make sure that we're addressing employer needs and working with employers to ensure that we're creating opportunities for job seekers that will get them employed in the county and enhance growth. And to create stronger pathways to self-sufficient employment and career advancement. That goal 3 is about supporting the job seeker and moving forward and growing as an individual into a highly paid career. So as part of goal 1, we are forming a Workforce Matters Coalition to help us discuss all 3 of these issues really, and how they are all coordinated and how they work together. And we want to support Bastrop County Cares with their efforts already. We're very lucky, fortunate to have Bastrop County Cares already thinking about childcare, broadband, and workforce housing. And we want to engage our employers more in participating on all of these so they can take a more active role in telling us what they need. In the second goal, which is enhance the region's employer-led and demand-driven workforce system, we're obviously wanting to engage far more of our community stakeholders in these conversations, the chambers, the EDCs, We want to continue to work with you guys to expand and strengthen our current workforce initiatives and look at how we can participate with other providers in the region, including our school districts. We want to distribute Bastrop County's workforce profile and make presentations on labor market conditions and trends. And essentially what we're saying is we want to make sure data is more accessible to everyone so that we can all engage in those conversations and know what the data says and kind of blend the qualitative and quantitative data to ensure we're moving forward correctly. We want to customize a list of career lattice systems that apply to Bastrop County. So essentially, we are looking to better inform our current residents about the opportunities in the county and how they can move up along a career lattice, which is a career pathway, but with a broader view of opportunities. And we want to raise awareness of opportunities for Bastrop County employers to participate in industry partnerships. And that's partnering with your school districts with their CTE programs and other career awareness and readiness activities. And then under goal 3, this is our area where we're focused on the job seeker and how we can enhance them and their efforts. And so we obviously want to start with our youngest population as well and make sure that we're connecting with all of our school districts and raising awareness of opportunities for those students to find opportunities in the region. We want to work with the school districts to ensure their endorsements and career and technology programs that are linked and aligned to the high demand careers that exist in the county. So we're essentially looking to help inform our school districts what's available career-wise. We want to partner with our school districts to recruit Bastrop County employers to serve on their business advisory committees. We're looking at how we can help better inform our school districts and connect them to employers. We want to work with community college, the Austin Community College District, and expand course offerings. Obviously, we want to ensure that we are creating opportunities for higher education. And of course, we want to support the Bastrop EDC and its efforts to expand higher education offerings in the county. We know that's one of their goals, and we want to see them succeed and enhance their efforts the best that we can. And we want to partner with the Bastrop and Elgin EDCs and the Smithville Chamber to attract new employers because they've reached out to us and said that that was part of their goals. So we're really looking forward to building this out and moving it along. And of course, yeah, so I think that was all of that. And so I'm going to hand it off to Eugene, who can talk to you more about the labor market data that inform this.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm Eugene Ratliff, work here at the board. I'm going to go over some of the labor market information that was utilized when developing this plan. I tend to speak a little fast. If I do, I apologize. Just tell me to slow down. And I'm looking at multiple screens, so I may not be able to look at the camera. And if we want to go ahead. This is really the labor market characteristics and trends is what we did. The labor force in August of 2020 was at 44,000 people. That's just a statistic that was utilized during that time. With that said, they looked at what the labor force was in August compared to what it was in February. And as Diane stated in the beginning, Bastrop really did recover from COVID a little bit better than other people. So you notice where some of the counties and in the US in general, the labor force dropped. Actually, Bastrop increased slightly. And to be 100% accurate, not accurate, but to be honest with you, it is still increasing, the labor force in and of itself. I can let you know that in April of 2020, the labor force was right about, unfortunately, this is where I have to look at other screens, 40,000. And in April of 2021, it's at 44,000. So you've gained 4,000 people in the labor force. Thank you, Ms. Tackett. Next one. Unemployment rate for August. This is not the rate, my apologies, unemployed persons, 2,342, my bad. And then the unemployment rate was 5.3 in August. That was a great recovery in April. This is in August. In April, you were at a little over 10%. So from April to August, you went to 5.3%. Today, or with the most recent statistics of April 2021, you're at 4.8. So you're still moving upwards, or downwards, upwards with people working, down with the employment rate. And labor force participation rate, 58.9%. That's of everyone above the age of 16 that is in the labor force. Median hourly wage, I have to say that very slowly, $15.96. If you notice with your surrounding counties, except for the Lee, you're pretty much so the same with everyone else in the same ballpark. The poverty rate is 10%. The most recent studies show it to be about 11%. It did grow just a wee bit. But it's in the median range of all the other areas that we have. It's not the lowest, it's not the highest. And this could be a reason why. The educational attainment, people 25 to 64 with no high school diploma or GED is 19%. That is relatively on the high side. So that is one of the focuses that we did. One of the things that we wanted to focus on. Retirement exposure. Bastrop's a great place to live, a great place to retire. It's going to be 55 and over, what the percentage is of your population. So you're going to notice it's in the 30s, but your outlying counties that are great places to go live and retire are always going to be a little bit higher. But that will show you that you've got an somewhat aging workforce. Remote workers is those that instead of having what we call go into the office every day, people that are actually able to work from home, or the general term is telecommute. 4.1% are able to do that. Paula, that's with her question.
Even if the changes, and then there's one issue is that.
Okay, I'm gonna guess not. The 4.1%, if we, with infrastructure and internet more available, that could tend to grow. And that is it for me. As I said, I speak very fast. My apologies if it was too fast. And Karen, I'm gonna give it back to you, ma'am.
So we, as part of our first goal, and one of our most ambitious pieces of this is that we are starting the Workforce Matters Coalition. And we're modeling it after Bastrop County Cares and partnering with them along with other stakeholders in the community to start organizing how we can align our resources and better leverage opportunities in the area. But I really want to open this up to the floor because I know we couldn't do this without partners like Becky and Debbie, and I saw Jean on here, Norma. If any of you want to weigh in on kind of how this is moving forward and how we see this growing.
I guess I'll jump in. I'm Jean Riemann Schneider with the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation. I'm the project manager and also work with the workforce education aspect of the Economic Development Office. I've had the pleasure of working with Paul and Kara and Carl and numerous others from the Rural Workforce Solutions team and over the years, and we've come a long way, but we're not even scratching the surface at this point. Just in the last year and a half, and building a relationship with the Art Institute, and also working with ACC over the last 4 or 5 years, we are starting to really see a change in that secondary education opportunity growing. It's making sure we all position ourselves correctly and working 100% together, not only as a community, but from a tools standpoint. Having the rural workforce solutions team navigate their aspect of it, as well as the secondary educators navigating their aspect of it, engaging, with the businesses and the community and the school district. Again, we've come a really, really long way, but we have a whole lot longer way to go. I think we're taking the right steps and we're building the right types of programs. I know some of our discussions have been around, Bastrop specifically. I can't speak on behalf of the county, but Bastrop specifically is a very service-driven community today. And I say that very strongly. We're working on trying to change that by bringing different types of industry in to offset that wage balance, if you may. A lot of our employers are really struggling from a service aspect, and we're working with numerous different avenues to try to help curb that. I realize it doesn't fit into the skills workforce platform, but I think we're getting creative enough to figure out how to supply training scenarios that can help those industry needs, as well as starting to work on the larger industry needs. As someone mentioned, as the meeting was getting started, it's very public now of a potential company that's coming in. It's been all over the news and all over the local community, as well as the Austin region. And we're very excited about that. And I've been very fortunate to work with the Art Institute on already starting to define some of those potential workforce needs. And as we get further along in the program, we will continue to define those. Going back to housing, childcare, and transportation. Wow, those are big. I wished I had the gold star to just put on the plate and make that, appear. I think we're trying to go down the right path, but again, it's identifying the area, the needs, and what that really looks like. I mean, the definition of affordable housing, 10 years ago to today, dramatically different. And I think that's where we're really struggling. How does somebody who's making $7.50 an hour even define what the current number is for affordable housing? And so, how do we balance that from a community visual standpoint and from a vocal standpoint to provide those opportunities for all of our workforce, not just the industry needs, but also our local needs in every single one of our communities in Bastrop County. I know Debbie and her team have been working on that for quite a few years. And again, they've made some headway and made those connections and identified some opportunities, but how do we physically get it on the ground? And that's what we're going to continue to work on together collectively as a group. Childcare, that's a whole nother, challenge from a local county standpoint. I know that there's been discussions about, how do we get all of our existing childcare to where it needs to be from a training, certification, quality standpoint, as well as adding ancillary opportunities within the county to support the ongoing growth. And then transportation. I think we're all pretty fortunate in the sense of physical infrastructure. We're in the right place for that. But how do we get those rural community members to the jobs that we need them to fulfill? And I think we're getting there. Again, we've kind of been the outsiders in a sense, in a good way though. And I definitely mean that very positive, and I'm sure Judge Poppy can definitely jump in and talk about that as well. you know, we've kind of always said we were the next frontier. We've never said we were the last frontier. We've strategically positioned ourselves for this growth, and we've all openly discussed it and engaged in those conversations instead of, you know, pushing it away and saying it's not going to happen. It's okay, it's going to happen. How do we support it? And so I think from a leadership standpoint across the board in the county, every single community is in that same position. We don't really have anybody saying we don't want it. We want it. We just want to be strategic about it. So I'm glad that we're having this conversation. And just like everything else in the state of Texas, we're probably 5 years behind the 8 ball, because it was, you know, everybody was in their great positions, and then all of a sudden, hi, Texas is like the place everybody wants to come. So, you know, we're excited about the growth and the change and all of that that's going on. But these are all such critical points of view that we all have to take very seriously, and we have to work together to make them all come together on behalf of all of our community members, constituents, however you want to view that. And it's extremely critical. And I'll be quiet now, maybe.
April, did you want to add anything too? Because I know there's a lot going on in Smithville, and yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kara. I appreciate that. So it's exciting to be a part of this group. You guys have absolutely hit the same nail on the head that we have as we've done our community surveys and talked to our business owners who have talked about their issues with their workforce and what the challenges that their workers are facing. We have exactly the same issues. Affordable housing, or whatever the word is that we're using, workforce housing, market rate housing, whatever the term is a real issue here in Smithville, just as it is across the whole region. It's difficult. People that serve our community have difficulty affording to live in our community. And that doesn't just mean minimum wage workers. That includes 1 through 5 first-year teachers, law enforcement. So housing is a huge issue for us, as well as, of course, affordable childcare. We are working to establish a workforce training center here in Smithville. We have secured some funding, which we're excited about. We have an MOU in place with the city here to focus on 2 areas of service. And Kara, you and I have talked about this a couple of times, and we've met Jill and talked a little bit about how we can partner with the workforce, with your organization to be able to help move this forward. We'll be focusing on what we see as the 2 big issues here in our rural part of the county, which is construction trades. I don't have to tell anybody how that is just going a mile a minute, and medical support trades. That's what we'll be focusing on, because that's what we see as being a huge, I can't emphasize enough what a big need that is in our community. And we'll, of course, continue to grow that out as we develop that programming. So it's exciting to be a part of this so that we can all work together and partner and share our experiences. And we'll be working with ACC to develop curriculum, and it's just the beginning, but we're working hard to build that out as fast as we can. As Jean said, I always feel like I'm about 5 years behind where we need to be. But if we could focus, that'll help us scoop up those young people that tend to flee these rural communities, that kind of leave, and then we have that, they all go and have their gap years, and then they come back here. We'd like to have this be where they spend their gap years. So it's a big rock to push up a hill, but I'm excited to be a part of this group as we kind of figure out how to address these issues in our community.
And I know that we wanted to open this up to questions. Are there, just to enhance what we're already talking about, if there's any questions, please feel free to ask. I know there's been a lot of information and opportunity.
I would like to say Judge Poppy or Adina from a county perspective. I don't know if anybody's on from Elgin, but I think it'd be great to hear from kind of the three communities, and then from a county perspective.
Thanks, Gene. Dina, would you like to say a few words from a county, from your perspective on the county?
You know, I think it's such an exciting time for Bastrop County. I guess there'll be a marker. You know, we have markers that have been based on disasters in Bastrop County, and now I think we have an economic development marker. There is a Tesla factor. Gene made a nice little pamphlet for us recently that talks about this, and I do think it has changed. But even before Tesla, I think we were noticing a change in what was happening in growth in Bastrop County because of folks coming from the Austin metropolitan area trying to find a rural lifestyle. Affordability has become a huge factor. Housing prices have spiked in all communities in Bastrop County. Accessibility and affordability of housing are going to be just as great a factor here as they are in, I think, the Austin metropolitan area. We're seeing lots of houses that are being having multiple offers way above the asking price. And so that phenomenon is happening here. So we're going to have to look at ways to keep people connected to housing so that we can have people have good places and safe places and comfortable places to live. The broadband is a huge issue, and we have a lot to be grateful for because I think we've made some progress in broadband. Thanks to St. David's Foundation and Bastrop County Cares working through Connected Nation, we know more than we did about how really serious the divide is. The digital divide is huge. And even though our students will be going back to live classrooms, and of course, many of them have been all year, there are so many projects and questions that students can't get answered without having access. And then of course, COVID brought us remote working, which we all love and appreciate, but you've got to have reliable internet for that. So we're going to be working really hard to leverage things that are happening all around us with regards to awareness of broadband and trying to capitalize on that in Bastrop County. But it's going to take partnerships, public and private partnerships, in order to make that happen. But I'm very grateful for the work that you guys are doing. You're constantly out there working on behalf of the citizens of Bastrop County, and we really appreciate that. The fact that you cover such a wide spectrum of our citizens is really important. It's kind of like our medical care that covers everybody. You guys as a workforce take us from the beginning of our careers to the ends of our careers. And I think that's a wide spectrum of people that you're trying to work with. Again, all different educational levels of folks, all different types of career goals. One of the things that bothered me a little bit about the presentation today was it challenged me, not bothered me, was the GED percentage. I don't know that I'd ever seen that quite as blatant. And that's low-hanging fruit, I think, to try to get some of the folks engaged in programs. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do with some of those things. But I thank you very much for your effort. Judge, if you want to finish out on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Adina. Well said, and I agree with all that you've laid out there. I just want to say to Paul Fletcher and his team how much we appreciate your investment in Bastrop County and our future through our workforce solutions. The difference between being good and being great is to recognize your weaknesses and make them strengths. And that's, I think, it's easy to pat ourselves on the back and brag about how good we are and how well we do some things. And we do have some fabulous programs here. Bastrop County Cares is a highlight, a star in our crown. But there are many deficiencies that we have to admit and recognize and work on. And that'll make the difference. If we have the courage and the fortitude to learn from this great survey that has been put together, and to really focus on where our deficiencies are, then our future will be brighter, and our employers will be more fulfilled, and our employees will have better lives for themselves and their families. So this is a fabulous effort, and I think we'll look back at this point as being a turning point toward a stronger economy in Bastrop County and a much stronger community when it comes to being welcoming to families and employers. So thanks a lot, Paul, and your team for everything you've done.
Thank you, Judge. Those are very kind words. Our staff have worked really hard to put this together, and I know a lot of folks there in Bastrop County have been there every time we've called and asked for a meeting or a Zoom call or a conference call or whatever we needed. Folks were quick to jump up and volunteer to get things done. So we're very appreciative of the cooperation we've had in getting this going.
So this is Abena Santa with St. Davis Foundation. I just want to echo the thanks from my colleagues here on the call. Great strategic plan. And thank you for pulling all those insights from your surveys together. So my question is, since the foundation is a regional funder, did you see any similarities with some of the issues that were identified in your other communities in terms of housing, broadband, transportation, childcare? Were there similarities? And what are your plans in working on with a regional lens and beginning to tackle those issues?
That's a great question. And I think those issues that were identified were eerily similar in all 9 counties, 10 counties if we count Travis County, because we have to recognize that a lot of our jobs and a lot of people move back and forth across county lines. They don't really recognize those lines. So there are similar issues in all 10 counties. What I think what we'll find is that there will be different ways to resolve some of those issues as we move forward. Just things that might work well in Bastrop County may not work in Llano County. And we have to take advantage of the resources that are available in each county, in each area, and utilize those resources as best we can to solve those issues.
Thank you.
I think, this is Debbie Brissette. I think it'll be interesting to see how we can both pull this stuff together. And Paul and team, Kara and Diane, and Sandy, oh my goodness. How can we get connected? How do you all normally connect your business community with the community? Like I'm thinking about Tesla in particular, but Tesla will also bring manufacturing of batteries. We've got the big Amazon piece coming, in Austin. And all of them are kind of close to Bastrop County and the eastern crescent of Travis County. And so how can we strategically connect those businesses and communities with their capacity building and their growth? Because, people have been talking about Tesla and, the opportunity it has, but they've already partnered with Del Valley High School, right? And so how can we have something like that happen as quickly for our school districts or our youth? Does that make sense? What do we need to do? What do we do to create that?
That's a great question. So in our discussions with Del Valley, with the Manufacturing Association, the Austin Regional Manufacturers Association, Austin Community College, as we've had those discussions, they're starting in Del Valley. That it makes the most sense for them because that's the school district where their gigafactory is going to be located in. But they're very interested in, once they get a plan established on how to do that training, what that whole concept looks like. They want to spread that out to multiple districts in areas where it makes sense, where they feel like that labor force can come from. And I have to tell you, Bastrop County and the whole Bastrop area is very high on their list.
Because, I think about IBM and they're incredible. They've got this incredible program for youth and training youth, really skill sets, and then having the youth come and work at IBM. And, there's things that the companies that have that kind of social interest, if you will, that business for good. And it's always been focused around the Austin area. And how can we help you all be advocates for having them reach into the rural communities, and be able to partner rural communities like they don't now?
I think, Debbie, we're going to see over the next several years, a lot of those companies like IBM and a lot of the people that were influential in building that type of system in Austin, they've watched their labor force move out to the surrounding area, and their work that they've done around Austin is beginning to branch out to the surrounding area, so that they're following that labor force as it moves out, whether they're going to be remote work or they're going to be transiting into Austin every day. It kind of immaterial, but I think you're going to see that begin to branch out more. I think I don't want to criticize Austin in any way. They've done a lot of great work. But they're recognizing the regional nature of how things have changed, and I joke with them a lot, but nobody's going to fall off the edge of the earth if they drift past the Travis County line anymore. So they're recognizing that, and they welcome it. I mean, they're seeing that in order for them to continue to thrive and grow, they need people from all over to be able to come back and forth and participate. A big employer like Tesla coming into the east side of Travis County right there, they know that a lot of their second tier manufacturers are going to locate in Caldwell County, in Bastrop County, in northern Travis County, Williamson County, all over, using some great conduits that are already there, like the 130, that as an access road to get things and people in and out. I think that's just a natural thing, a way things are going to occur.
As those opportunities come up, and I just want to add this, as those opportunities come up, it's going to take some coordination. And that's one of the reasons why we have this Workforce Matters Coalition, is because those partnerships, like the IBM partnership, also include a community college being present and having certain infrastructure, the business. So it's how we're all going to work together. And that's where that Workforce Matters Coalition really comes in to make us more successful as all of this grows out. So we will be calling on everyone to participate as those opportunities increase. And
I know we have Becky Womble here from the Bastrop Chamber, and I think she speaks well for the area employers and can help be a voice to let this group and this coalition know what the employers are looking for. Becky, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of ditto what Gene said about us being the new frontier for Central Texas. I've heard that numerous times, and I do not think that the timing could be any better on launching this coalition here in Bastrop County. And we're already so fortunate to have such amazing partnerships and relationships in place that I just think that this coalition is really going to take workforce development to the next level. So really proud to be a part of this group. And Paul, Kara, thank you so much. Diane, for everything you were doing and investing into Bastrop County.
Thanks, Becky.
And if I may jump back in, and I again told you guys I might be quiet. I would like to point out, from a Bastrop ISD standpoint, and I know Smithville and Elgin are doing a lot of the same types of things. Our school districts have really, really changed and stepped up, and they are seeing what is coming, and they are trying to navigate the waters as quickly as they physically can to implement these new programs and implement and go after grants that they have not gone after in the past to help pay for some of these programs that we desperately need to have in our school districts. They see it, they're working on it. And so I just want to give a shout out to our school districts and the hard work, the dedication, the forethought, the vision that they see, and wanting to partner not only with companies, but also additional educational opportunities and really elongating, and I use that word a lot, and you guys, I apologize, but it's kind of one of my favorite words lately because of how much we are changing and growing. But elongating opportunity, right? Like taking what we have and just stretching it and molding it to where we're going. It takes all of us, and we haven't really had the mindset of opening those doors all the way and letting opportunity walk in. And I think we're there. I think we're really getting there. And I couldn't be more proud of our school district right now. They're looking at implementing the manufacturing academy, which just makes me extremely giddy and excited for our students and the future of our community. They've received a P-TECH grant, which is going to help grow the STEMS programs that we have. The fact that they are growing an engineering program on top of looking at the manufacturing programs. And so my point in going here, one, is to say, yay, school district. And two is to really point to the fact, because probably every one of us that are on this call right now today, we understand it, but we're not as good at it as we should be. That was a lot of words in there, sorry. Is really shouting from the rooftop our stories. The good things that we are doing, we are not telling everybody else what we're doing, what we're succeeding at, the hurdles we have overcome and accomplished and grown. It is because of this group right here who shows up every single time somebody comes to the table and says we should look at something. We all jump on board and say, yes, we should. And what do you need from us to make it happen? And it's going to continue to have to be that mindset to get us to where we need to be. And I appreciate every single one of you. There's 29 people on this call today. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for using your voice. And let's keep going. Let's keep doing what we're doing, because we're freaking awesome over here in Bastrop County. And we're about to show all these other communities how to do what we do. So thank you.
And
Great.
so
That's
I
great,
just,
Jean. Hey, Kara, before we go to the next comment, Eldon Monday has had his hand up for a while. I want to make sure we get his comments or question.
that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you. I think I just want to reiterate what Jean was saying. A lot of you have spoken about bringing industry into Bastrop, and obviously it's coming very quickly. The thing that will drive that industry into the market is obviously awareness that it's coming to Bastrop. But when you look at the high school diploma rates being where they are, I think, or the lack of high school diploma rates being where they are, I think that's if we can start there and start to move that dial, it then becomes a very appetizing place for corporations to come to. So we're excited, obviously, to be in Bastrop to try to help with that. And I'm sure myself and other leaders at the campus will be reaching out to all of you to try to figure out how we can help with that high school diploma attainment rate improvement, so that the market continues to grow and employers can see that there are folks in that market ready to go to work. So thank you. Again, thanks for allowing me to be on this call as well.
Thank you. Dale Burke also raised his hand.
We go. Yes, I'm with Community Action here in Bastrop, and we have worked closely with, of course, the Workforce Solutions here and the EDC. And we of course, we've had a little tough year with doing our virtual training, but more exposure that we can get to let different people in the community know what we're doing with the GED program. We've done a lot this year also with the ESL programs, getting those people into training. And we've done different training programs, EMT and CNA programs, and we're looking to do more with EDC on the trades area. But as you're noticing here, we do have a real problem with the students not getting their high school diplomas. And I'm actually retired from BISD and was career and technology teacher there, a career counselor there as well. So the more we can have support there to do to get students into our programs. We have an excellent, outstanding administrator here, Dr. Glenda Rose, that's really putting together an excellent program. So I'm just putting it out there that we are here. We want more exposure. We want to connect more. And we've got a great team here to do that. We're looking to have a really outstanding year this next year, as Dr. Rose just came in a little over a year ago. And so we're putting programs together. So anyway, we're here, community action, and just wanted to let you.
Thank you, Dale. Great comments. I know it's been a staple of the workforce development world for a long time, but when we get educators and employers to sit down at the same table and talk about what both their needs are and where they see things going, I think really good things happen. And I think this coalition will be a great tool to help facilitate some of those conversations and help move things along. So
yes, I'm looking forward to that. Great.
Thank you, Dale. We're getting close to our time, and I want to respect everyone's time. I'd like to give our board chair, Frank Leonardis, just a moment here to say a few words at the end, and then we'll see if anybody else wants to say anything.
Thanks, Paul. I wish I would have recorded what Gene said and thanking everybody and all the great work that's being done, because after that, I don't really have anything to say. So again, thank you all for your participation in this. Do look forward to working with you moving forward as we form the Workforce Matters Coalition. I think the audience today and the participation just shows what amazing things are going on out there in Bastrop, and y'all's commitment to joining us in this is certainly appreciated. So thank you. Appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you, Frank. I just want to acknowledge Frank as a volunteer board member on our workforce board. He has a day job, and he does all of the work that he does for us in his spare time, whenever that happens to be. So thank you, Frank, for all you do for the workforce board. Judge Poppy, any parting comments from you, sir?
Just to say thank you again, Paul, on behalf of everybody from Bastrop County on this conference today. What a fabulous opportunity we have, and an exciting place to be. And obviously, from the comments that have been made today, we have some leaders that are very capable to move us forward. So looking forward to some next positive steps in Workforce Matters, and because workforce does matter in Bastrop County, and that's why the coalition is so strong. We'll continue to be talking about this and promoting it, and looking forward to where we're going with this. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Judge, and thank everyone for being here today. Y'all's time is important, I know, and I value your time spent with us on this coalition. So thank you very much, and everybody have a great day.